What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Travis from AmericanTrucks.com, and today I'm going to show you guys the most affordable fog light kit that you can install on your 2010 to 2014 Raptor. This is Axial's very cool DRL fog light kit, and as you can see, they were nice enough to design this kit to fit right into the factory bumper. This also includes its own wiring harness. They actually include a DRL module as well that helps regulate everything, helps control how the fog lights turn on and off when you're using your key fob or when you're using the dash control inside the Raptor. That's a really nice thing because most fog lights are universal. You're gonna have to figure out a way to wire it into the truck, and you're not gonna have that kind of control because it's normally not gonna interface with the wiring harness that's actually built into the truck. So if you think about it, this kit's actually more affordable in general terms because you don't have to buy a bunch of tools, you don't have to buy a bunch of wiring and brackets and all that kind of stuff. It's not a gimmick by any means. $90 is affordable. One thing that jumps out at me, the quality of the actual housing on this thing, it's pretty well built. It feels like it's actually made out of a pretty rugged polycarbonate, which is really nice. Polycarbonate's actually really capable of taking light strikes and direct impacts. Obviously, that's kind of an important factor driving a Raptor off-road, right? Each housing includes 33 bulbs. They're IP67 waterproof rated, so they're sealed up really nicely. Shouldn't have any trouble with water or mud if you ever get them submerged or anything like that. And those 33 bulbs are really nice. They do put out a really bright light, 6,000 Kelvin color temperature, so it's a nice modern white light. So if you've installed any other LEDs on your truck, they should match quite nicely. And then getting these things installed is super simple, guys. It only takes a couple seconds to actually get the housing installed, and then wiring the whole thing up only takes a couple minutes. They do include all the hardware that you need. They also include some pretty nice instructions, but I'm also going to show you guys step by step as well. As far as how long it should take, well, honestly, guys, it probably shouldn't take you more than an hour. Incredibly simple stuff. You don't even need to have any experience wiring anything. You don't even really need to have any mechanical experience. So if you just want to make your truck look cool, or maybe this is your first mod, you should be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and give the install difficulty on this a very simple 1 out of 3 wrenches on the old difficulty meter. So check it out a little bit more on the site. And if you like the Axials, come back in a little bit. I'll show you the tools that you need to get the job done, and I'll walk you through how to get these things installed and wired up step by step. As before we get started with our fog lights, you'll need a standard drive ratchet and a 10mm socket for the headlight housing. You'll need a small flathead screwdriver for our wire taps. We have to open them up a little bit. You'll probably want an extension for one of those bolts on the headlight housing. You'll need a pair of pliers to help clamp down on those wire taps to get our harnesses connected. You'll probably need a cutting tool to also remove some leads off of our wiring harnesses. And if you want to make the whole project go a little bit quicker, impact gun will help with that headlight housing. All right, guys, the first thing that we're actually going to do here is set up the lights themselves. They actually just mount to the front of the bumper in the little cutouts here with just some 3M tape. So you want to make sure you have a good clean surface for these to adhere to. So you want to kind of wipe this down, maybe with some isopropyl alcohol. 3M actually makes an adhesion promoter if you want to be really careful with this. Make sure it's not going to fall off, but just go ahead and peel off all the 3M backing here. And we're just going to let this rest in place. It's kind of self-centering, so you don't have to worry too much about getting it aligned. Just going to want to press down around the edges here on the lips, make sure all the 3M is contacting the bumper itself. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other side. Okay, so both of our lights are in place. Now we have to connect the wiring harness. Specifically, we have to connect our ballast or our daytime running light module. So we have these two leads here. These are going to plug into the lights themselves. And then we're going to plug in our extension for our wiring harness. This guy's going to route up to our headlight wiring harness. But for now, let's just worry about getting both of these plugged in. We're also going to secure this ballast somewhere underneath the truck, away from any electrical connections. These just kind of clip in place, so just apply firm pressure with your hands. All right, so we got the module plugged in. Now we need to connect it to the other side. Obviously, it's a little bit far away for this little guy. So you're gonna grab this extension cable here, same process. All you gotta do is plug this in. And if you got this big old skid plate here, easy thing, just go ahead and route it through all the way. We'll pull this through the other side and we'll get him plugged in. But before we do that, we wanna make sure we don't have too much slack. So I'm actually gonna secure the module, if you will. We actually have some bumper brackets kind of tucked up in here. Nice little metal brackets. Just grab some zip ties. They do provide some in the kit. I'll be honest, they might be a little bit too small though. So let's go ahead and get this secured first. Okay, so like I said, we got this nice little bracket back here. Got some long zip ties. Obviously you want the module facing up so the wiring harness can be tucked up in here. There we go. So now we're ready to install our extension harness here. This is what we're actually going to use in order to splice in the fog lights into our factory wiring harness. So you want to grab the plug here, and that's going to actually connect with the top of the plug on top of our module. So just go ahead and get him seated in there. Make sure you hear that nice little click. And then you're going to have to figure out how you want to route all of this stuff up into the engine bay. You want to get this stuff kind of near the headlight. So actually, if you mounted yours the way I did, safest bet is to just go straight up next to the radiator support. Okay guys, now we're going to remove our headlight in order to access the factory wiring harness. It's held on with 3 bolts. There's 2 up top here, 10mm flanges. Let's go ahead and pop these bolts out here. And then the 3rd bolt is actually on the side here. You got this little kind of environmental flap cover thing, if you will. If you're using regular sockets, you'll definitely want to get an extension for this as well. All right, and then once you have those 3 bolts out, all you need to do is kind of gently pull on the headlight in order to unseat it. So we have our headlight out here. We have our headlight bulb and we have our running light bulb. We're going to be using both of these wiring harnesses because we have to splice into these. Now you can also see that our new harness has been pulled up here on top of that little relay or module or whatever. The first thing we're going to do is connect the white wire into our headlight housing. The instructions tell you that you have to plug that into a gray wire with a black stripe. It's actually this one right here. It's a light gray and actually has more of a brown color to it. Now the fog lights also come with these little attachments here on the end of the wires, but we're just going to be using some T-taps or vampire clips, if you will. So we actually don't need these fasteners on the end, so just go ahead and cut those off first before we do this. Okay, now that we have that fastener cut off of that white wire, we're going to install our T-tap in order to splice that wire into our factory harness. Kind of want to open up these T-taps a little bit. They can be a little stiff, so just a small blade screwdriver in there will open that up. Go ahead and get that wire lined up in there, and you're going to press the other wire in there. And once you have both of these lined up, you just want to kind of hold on to it and go ahead and grab a pair of pliers. You're going to press down on this metal tab here in the middle of the T-tab. See how it's pressed flush there? That means we have a good connection. So go ahead and pop this cover over. That's all you have to do to splice those together. Now we're going to do the same thing for the rest of the wires on our module here. We're going to use this second wiring harness going into this bulb down here. So you'll need 2 more T-taps for these. All right, now we have the same deal here. We have a couple of connections or something like a little, not sure what this is, but we don't need these connectors on our wires here, so we can just cut these off. Now we're going to do the same thing for these other wires. Like I said, we're going to tackle the black wire first because it's a little shorter. Might be a little bit more difficult working in here. Just grab another T-tap, open it up, and the black wire on our new harness is going to this dark black and gray wire on this bulb harness here. Again, just make sure both of the wires are lined up, grab your pliers, and press down on the little metal tab on the T-tab. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing one more time for our red wire. Our red wire is going to be going on this yellow and blue wire right here. They say yellow and black in the directions, but it's more of a yellow and blue. Sometimes the wires might get caught on the little metal divider in there. If that happens to you, just grab a small blade screwdriver, gently press down on it and kind of open it up as well. Just make sure you don't puncture the sleeve of the wire itself. Once you have all 3 T-taps clamped down and tightened up, you just want to kind of secure all these extra wires here. You can kind of fold the wiring harness back up a little bit, use some zip ties and kind of tie everything together here. Then we'll put our headlight back in place. All right, once you have everything nice and together, let's go ahead and pop our headlight back in place. right, again, to secure our headlight, it's just those 3 bolts that we removed earlier. And again, this is a 10 mil socket for all of these. We also have that 3rd bolt that slides behind this little environmental cover on the side here. Again, you'll probably need a long extension for this. All right, so once you got all those T-taps clamped down, now comes the fun part. Pretty simple. Go ahead and grab the key fob, press the unlock button, and you should have your lights turning on. You should be good to go. That'll wrap up this very easy install and review of the Axial DRL fog lights for your 2010 to 2014 Raptor. Be sure to check them out more on the site, and for all things F-150 and Raptor, keep right here at AmericanTrucks.com.